Well, there are growing calls this morning for an emergency shark summit with the number of attacks, especially in New South Wales, on the rise. Let's go back to Little Bay in Sydney's east in February 2022. It was the city's first fatal attack in 60 years. And what's followed has many Aussies now on edge. In the same year, there were 10 other recorded shark incidents. In 2023, there were 5. In 2024, 4 attacks. The number then rose again last year with 7 incidents recorded, with 2 people tragically losing their lives. Now in 2026, there are already 5 attacks recorded, including 4 in 48 hours, one of them fatal. And despite increasing investment in shark mitigation, the state government's approach is facing criticism, with many arguing more needs to be done to keep Aussies safe. For more, let's bring in Chris Minns, Premier of New South Wales. Good morning, Chris. In 2015, we saw this happen. An emergency shark summit was called. Now, shark attack survivors are calling for another summit. Are you going to do one?
We don't have plans to do a summit, but that doesn't mean we're going to put our head in the sand and not listen to experts who can give us a better way of mitigating shark attacks or preventing interactions between swimmers and surfers and sharks on the Pacific Ocean. And we're going to unveil some practical measures that we think can make a big difference, particularly in relation to drone technology and nets, particularly during the summer period. And we'll be making announcements very soon alongside new dollars to try and keep people safe. I can't promise that there won't be further attacks. I can't promise that great whites won't interact with swimmers, but I think we can mitigate the number on some of our most popular beaches, and obviously we need to.
You can't promise it, but we can't wait, Premier, because people aren't going in the water anymore. Not random people. These are people that go down every single day. They are ocean water swimmers. They're surfers that grew up doing this. Parents are pulling their kids out of nippers. It is impacting our Australian way of life.
I understand that, Matt. We want to make sure that when we do make an intervention, it does make a difference. There's a couple of things that we're pursuing right now, and that is particularly in relation to bull sharks in Sydney Harbour, a big audit of their number, their prevalence. They're not a protected species. We can make mitigation measures to keep the public safe. Unfortunately, during the winter months, obviously they're not in Sydney Harbour. They move up to Queensland, so that count is interrupted during this period of time. Drone technology can make a big difference too, and if we've got the kind of drone technology that can identify sharks alongside nets and let the public know when there is a sighting, that can make, we think, using old technology and new technology to keep the public safe. But that's world leading. It's not as if we can take it off the shelf from California or Miami or Brazil or Johannesburg, places where there is big populations and shark attacks. We have to invent it right here in New South Wales. Now, we're determined to do that, but there's not an automatic solution to this problem that I can roll out this afternoon. If there was, that's exactly what I'd do.
Well, can you promise to roll out 365 days a year drone surveillance and that extra $87 million that you're putting towards shark mitigation to make sure that at the very least drones are in the air and they're telling surfers and swimmers to get out?
The short answer to that is yes. I've got a question mark over the number of beaches that can be covered, but certainly Sydney's big beaches and the big tourist beaches on the north coast and the south coast. We'll have an announcement in relation to that very soon, including new money, including the use of new technology, and partnering with our trusted partners, and that is Surf Lifesaving New South Wales. Now, we're working through the issues when it comes to CASA, the number of drones that can be operated by a pilot, but we can get a good solution here that can make a difference and hopefully give people peace of mind to get into the ocean knowing that there is a drone that's monitoring marine life on Sydney's coast as it moves through the Pacific Ocean.
Chris, you grew up in Sydney. It's an emotional thing, isn't it? I mean, as a kid, I used to surf from Mona Vale to Maroubra. The idea that I'm not comfortably able to do that anymore in my own backyard really hurts. It hurts a lot knowing that maybe something more can be done. What's the new technology? What are we looking into? How are we implementing it? What is changing?
Drone technology that utilises artificial intelligence to monitor and identify great whites in particular is the technology that we want to exploit. Now, we believe that that science is available, but it's not being commercially rolled out anywhere else in the world, and that means that we have to invent it for Australian conditions. So give us time to do that. We think it can make a difference. But Matt, I can't come on the program and promise that this will solve all of the problems or even that this won't happen again. We're on the Pacific Ocean, and if you look at the movements, the migration movements of great whites, some days they'll be in Hawaii, the next day they might be in New Zealand, and the next day they might be off the coast of one of our Australian beaches, and that's what we have to live with. They're the things that we're dealing with. We can mitigate it, but we cannot make it shark-proof. No one can promise that, and I'm not going to come on your program and promise it this morning.
I understand that. The stats have changed. Something's changed, sentiment has changed, and obviously the mitigation systems need to change. Premier, really appreciate you coming on the show.
Thanks, Matt.
Good on you. Here's Nat.